races at Mid-Ohio. Pole sitter Jimmy Burke led the first 7 laps, but the pressure from Joe Huffaker and Doug Peterson's Minis was intense. Then, when Burke just nudged a lap competitor in less than a quarter of a mile, he dropped from first to third, with Huffaker taking the lead and Peterson following him through. Huffaker tenaciously held on for the win and gave his Mini a major victory, and in doing so earned his second gold medal of the weekend. The GT5 class is all about small-bore, purebred race cars, and that means carrying a lot of momentum. Now, Jimmy Burke, he's carrying a lot of momentum into this runoff. He's had 4 wins this year. It gave him the Southeastern Division Championship, and he qualified on pole last year, but he could only finish third. That's not enough. He wants gold. But to get there, he's got to get by one of the all-time greats in this category, Doug Peterson in the Ford Tech Mini. Doug has found gold 5 times in his runoffs career, but last year he could only get second. That's not good enough for him. But if he's going to advance, he's got to get by his arch rival and great friend, and he's standing by with David Hobbs.
Well, they may be great friends off the track, but Joe Huffaker is a demon on the track, and they certainly have great rivalry going there. Joe Huffaker has won this championship 7 times with 9 pole positions, so this is a guy that Doug Peterson is really going to have to watch out for. There's no doubt about it. Tough competition in this little Mini. Looks cute, very fast. Also in an interesting car, an Alfa Romeo, Jack Beck. He has won 5 races this year and is the Midwest Division champion. He came 4th in this race last year. He's had 2 podium positions before that, but he doesn't qualify as well as he might do. And then finally we go to Dan Robinson in his Mazda. Dan Robinson has 3 wins this year, and he's equal runner-up in his division, Southeast Division. He has a bit of a spotty record here at National Championship. Wants to try and rectify that this weekend.
Some classes at the runoffs are more about heart than horsepower, and none more so than GT5. But the competitive instincts are as intense as any in this very hotly contested class. Well, it's time to dig deep and see if you can end up with a championship in Grand Touring 5. Hi, everybody, and welcome to Mid-Ohio for the SCCA's National Championship in GT5 at the 39th edition of the Valvoline Runoffs here at Mid-Ohio Sports Car Course. And David Hobbs, if ever there was a track suited to these cars, you'd think it's this one.
Well, Mid-Ohio suited to most cars, Greg. There's no doubt about it. It is a great track to race on. It's also a great track to spectate at. 2.4 miles long, 15 turns. But as you can see, there's a lot of straight here involved. Right in that start-finish line through turn 1 is almost flat out in these cars up to that chicane. And then, of course, once we come out the keyhole at the top left-hand corner of the picture, that is a long downhill straight to the S's, and from then on the road moves right back to the start-finish. Very difficult to get past people there, but great front to attack with verve. There's no doubt about it. And it's one of the things about this track, it's smooth.
Well, let's bring you our Valvoline starting grid, and Joe Huffaker did, in fact, end up on the pole, but Jim Rauch surprised Doug Peterson and the rest and ended up second. So a good effort there. Last year's pole sitter, Jimmy Beck, struggling a little bit back in the 8th spot. Now, there's some great stories developing down on the grid, so let's go down there with the first of our pit reporters, Brian Till, a little bit more on our pole sitter.
Well, GT5 is always a competitive class at the runoffs, and why shouldn't it be? Between Joe Huffaker and Doug Peterson, they've got 5 national championships between them in GT5 alone. But Joe Huffaker, he's the only one that can do this, the hat trick. He won this in 2000, 2001. He's trying to make it 3 in a row, and that is quite a feat, especially as deep as the talent is in this field. And for a little more on these machines, let's get down to my partner, John Bizignano.
Well, thank you very much. You know, GT5, the competitors really weren't taking full advantage of the rules. They were using heavily modified production cars to go racing. Then along came, again, Joe Huffaker. He built the first purpose-built tubular chassis race car for GT5. He raised the bar for everyone. Well, now, if you want to win in GT5, you've got to have one of these kind of cars. Okay, so the price went up, the speed went up, and soon everyone in this field will have to have a pure race car to go racing in GT5.
Thanks very much, gentlemen, and it certainly seems to be going that way, but every once in a while a great story sneaks in there. But boy, the competition at the front is very, very tough. When we come back, we'll be underway with the national championship in GT5. Channel's coverage of the SCCA Valvoline Runoffs is brought to you by Valvoline. You can always tell the guys who use Valvoline. GT5 machines out on their pace and parade laps, and David Hobbs, there are a number of different classes here that carry the Grand Touring moniker. Tell us a little bit about GT5.
Well, we start off at GT1 and go up to GT5, and GT5 are the smallest of these purpose-built race cars from the ground up. Not all the cars in this class have been purpose-built, but they've been heavily modified, and as we saw looking through the window of Joe Huffaker's car at the beginning there, this car has got the most amazing roll cage in there. This is a serious little race car.
They continue to work around the racetrack in preparation of the race. Let's get down once again to the pits for some final thoughts. Let's check in with Brian Till.
Well, I spoke with Bill Gilcrease about his Mini. He's got a front-wheel drive. I asked him about the benefits and maybe the penalties that he pays. He said, Brian, you know, the biggest problem is that when they use the rear-wheel drive, they can put a proper gearbox in it, which means they can select the gears they want to put in that box. Each individual gear they can select. In this front-wheel drive gearbox, the only thing we can do is choose gear sets. So we may get the first or second gear that we want, but it may not be the third or fourth, and that's been the biggest problem they've had here at Mid-Ohio. Now let's check in with John Bisognano again.
Well, in a similar case, Doug Peterson is actually still using the front-wheel drive Mini, and his big problem has been wearing out the front tires at the later stages of the race. He's been looking at the backside of that number 77 car for the past 2 years. They've widened the track on that car, so he hopes he has the grip he needs to go for the checker past number 77.
Well, it creates an interesting balance, doesn't it?
They look great, those little squat minis there, going back so far. Of course, we've got the new Mini out now, which has superseded these, but these still look like the real thing. But boy, they have a really purposeful stance with that very, very wide track. And of course, I'm not sure everybody has got the fact yet, quite honestly, that the car of Huffaker on the pole there is, in fact, a rear-wheel drive car, not a front-wheel drive car.
And by the way, we are actually into the race. The first lap was under yellow. There was a safety issue on the course, and so this first lap is counting. But we're coming up now to the actual first start for the green flag. Huffaker leading him down. And I mentioned that Jim Rauch sort of surprised Doug Peterson in qualifying. Well, to a point, Rauch qualified 4th last year, so his qualifying in 2nd was by no means no fluke. Boy, they're queuing up beautifully. Huffaker bringing him up in great line here. Now, Rauch looked like he was easing ahead just a little bit, but Huffaker timed it, jumps on it, but let's see now, Rauch on that outside. That doesn't look like he was able to get the trigger pull just in time, and here comes Peterson trying to slap down underneath Rauch. Rauch going to go deep into the braking zone, into the S's, holds on to 2nd. Peterson slops into 3rd. Robson trying to hang on to 4th under the attack from behind, but that looks like he may have done it. Field starting to work through. Contact there.
98 car of Roy Lopshire. He's out of Missouri. The 43 car there gets shuffled back at Keith Maloney, also in a Mini.
Yeah, he really lost a few spots there.
Oh, he's off the road
off now.
I think is that Keith Maloney off?
Might be. It's such close quarters up in those S's, and he's got damage. There's a little bit of smoke coming from that left rear corner from his machine. Boy, side-by-side action throughout. 0-1. That's Jay Bivens. He's been having some problems, and Huffaker, as you would expect in the opening laps, he has booked up, but look at the margin, Rauch and then Peterson. But Huffaker is, boy, that's a huge lap. Officially in the first lap, David, just a tick over 2 seconds in that lead. Let's go back and see what happened with that bump and grind here. There's the first contact. That's the 98. 99 was the other car involved there. And then here comes 43 Blivens. Let's go back and watch this one. He gave him a little wrinkle, didn't he?
He did. Gave you quite a wrinkle at the door there in the 98. Boy, what a first lap for Joe Huffaker. I mean, absolutely just rocked it off. And the car of Doug Peterson there in 3rd spot doesn't seem to have much of an answer for Jim Rauch in the Nissan 200 SX either.
Here's your battle for 4th. A great start by this gentleman, Jay Ilioan, as he jumped from 7th into the 4th spot, got around a number of people, but here comes Robson. Takes the Mazda down low underneath the Alpharetta. Couldn't make the pass, but Robson wants by in a hurry here. But what a tremendous start by Ilioan. Boy, Robson loose as he comes up over the top.
Loose as he goes over the top of the hill there, which is not a good sign at this early stage in the race. Sun out, not a very high temperature yet. It's fairly early in the day, so these guys racing on a pretty cool track. No rain last night, but we've had rain on and off over the weekend, but the track is fairly good shape.
Boy, the gentleman you talked about in the Open who didn't have the history of not qualifying great, back there, 3rd in his queue, the blue Alpha. He qualified quite a bit better, but slipped back behind Iliola as he made his charge, and Beck trying to join that battle right now and bringing with him Jimmy Burke. Burke got by Bill Gilcrease on that last lap, and here's the battle between Chris Fox and that's Ted Phoenix battling it out for ninth right now. They come down the front straight. Boy, Phoenix taking a look at him, trying to get by. Check that. That's now Jack Baumgartner. Phoenix dropped a couple spots. And the 04 Baumgartner in that last lap picked up 2 spots, went from 12 to 10. So Baumgartner on the move, qualified 11th, and he's now fought his way into the top 10.
Know more about motors than anyone else in this Mid-Ohio paddock. His company, Comtech, founded in 1979, has been victorious in IMSA racing, SCCA racing, and at the Indy 500. Doug, I got to ask you, outside of the car's cockpit, what do you think has been your greatest accomplishment in motorsport?
Well, without a doubt, I'd say winning Indy in 2000 with Juan Montoya. We were also on the pole in '99 with Arie Luyendyk, and in 2002 with Bruno Junqueira. Those are, without a doubt, are my proudest moments. It's a tribute to everybody at our company.
Well, at Mid-Ohio, he wants to be number 1 in this beautifully prepared GT5 number 11 Mini.
Well, you can see the creative work up in the engine compartment to make this car work, and he's currently running in the 3rd spot.
Well, I think Doug's going to have to bite the bullet if he wants to win in this class again. He is a winner in this class. He's a 5-time national champion, I believe, altogether in various other classes as well. But if he wants to win this one against Joe Huffaker, he is going to have to go the rear drive route. It's obviously the front wheel drive just won't cut the mustard, as they say.
Not quite enough, but I have to say now, Jim Rock and Peterson, who are running in lockstep, and here goes Robson trying to get underneath into the chicane. Boy, you've got to be very decisive to make that pass, and Iliola shut the door. So Robson tucks back in behind Beck, right behind, Burke now has gone around Beck, so it's really a 4-car battle at this stage with Burke getting around Beck. Right there's Burke, and he's coming on. He's running some pretty quick laps. He just turned a 142.9, so he's got a good run. But the interesting thing is, Rock and Peterson have closed up on Huffaker, and here comes Burke. Boy, he got a drive out of the heel. He's going for both of them.
Rear abreast in the 6 is going to be difficult. 59 again, splashes across the front. Ilio, and they're just not having any of it. Goes right from the left of the track, right across the front of both of them. No doubt putting them back firm in their place, saying, if you want to get by me, it's going to be difficult.
He has no compunction at all. Just coming across and saying, not quite enough, gentlemen. So he's going to hang on to that 4th spot.
But in that, of course, Burke did get around Robson.
We move back now and take a look at this battle. This is for the 18th spot. That's 31 is Chris Riley at this stage, and he's got John Knox right behind him.
Right
Good
behind him, Ted Wallison in another example of a Mini. I suspect this is a front-wheel drive car.
Yeah, Ted's is one of those cars that production in is just been heavily modified, as is Riley.
As you can see, they're much more stock than the leading cars of Peterson and Huffaker, and as much as nothing like as wide. They don't have incredibly wide stance.
Well, John Knox very defensive right now, trying to hang on to 20th spot as Wallison applying a lot of pressure over the rise in 11th through Thunder Valley and now up into the carousel. And Knox would like to be able to focus and race on Riley here, but Wallison is keeping him very honest. Up front, there you see the margin as it is down now to under a second as Jim Ruff has opened it up big time here. That Nissan 200SX, he's opened the butterflies on that throttle and is coming after Huffaker. He turned a 141.1 on that lap. That's only a few tenths off where Huffaker qualified. Into the S's, and Ruff makes up even more ground. Good top end in that Nissan, and it's from here on where Huffaker makes up his speed, has his forte, if you will.
You've certainly got to believe that down this long straight that the Mini is not the most aerodynamic car out there.
Really?
It doesn't somehow look it to me. It's sort of
flat?
It's sort of a brick-shaped vehicle. It does not add to its top end, but it certainly seems to be going pretty well.
Yeah, 00 route is moving up, and John Vizignano, he is making up a lot of ground on that straightaway.
Well, the problem on the straightaway is, of course, the 00 car is quite a bit heavier. And talking to the crew chief today, they said that brick is actually the best drive down the straightaway compared to their car. Also, the 00 car, they're on a harder compound, And with this cloud cover, they're saying it's going to take at least 5 laps before their tires come in. Later stages, I think he'll be able to get closer.
Very good point. Now, it is cool if he's on harder compound tires, which he needs because of his extra weight. And, of course, although the car is slipperier and will be quick down the straight, because it takes a bit of spooling up to get it off the keyhole.
When he gets it spooled up, he carries a lot of speed, and right now that's starting to bother Joe Huffaker. GT5 here on Speed. Great to have you with us. Craig Kramer, David Hobbs, Brian Till, and John Bizignano. The action heating up out on the track. There's your leader, Joe Huffaker, and Jim Rauch has closed it up and is staying close. And Brian Till, Huffaker really seems to be starting to notice that white car in his mirror.
Well, I'm sure he is, Greg, but Peterson is the guy that's just kind of hanging there in third. I talked to his crew chief, Michael Kearney. He feels like if they can stay close enough to Rock in front of him, they'll go racing the last 5 laps. I said, so you guys just cruising right now? And he kind of smiled and said, well, we're not cruising, Brian, but if we can stay close, it's the last 5 laps is where we're going to go. So we're content to hang here for now.
Well, Jim Rauch on that last lap did a 1:40.9, which is right down in qualifying time. Huffaker's lap on the same lap was a 1:41.1, so only 2/10 out of it, but I mean, Rauch really looking very strong at the moment.
And Peterson at a 1:41.5, so this yellow mini is spooling up. And look at here, look at how close Rauch gets at the end of the straight. But there's the weight issue, too.
Absolutely.
You accelerate that speed, you've got to decelerate it, and the mini gets a little jump in braking.
The weight is worst of all when it's starting and stopping. Due to the twisty S's through turns 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, the weight is a bit of a disadvantage, there's no doubt about it, as are his harder tires. You can see how much Huffaker has pulled out since they entered the S's. But of course the worst thing is stopping it.
Now we go back just a little bit, and another phenomenal battle is unfolding out here. That's Robson, that white Mazda. Not that long ago we saw him chasing somebody else, but Jack Beck, the number 26, that beautiful blue Alpha, has moved up now and gone around, picked up the 6th spot. So Beck runs 6th, then it's Robson, then Bill Gilcrease in that green and yellow mini, and they are having a great scrap here. And Beck, you talked about at the top of the show, historically not a great qualifier, but comes alive in the race, seems to be following that form once again. As a matter of fact, he's now closing up on 5th, and the other Alpha of Jay Leowen.
And Robson also just never seems to be able to quite do it here at the Runoffs. He's won his division a number of times. He's won lots of races this year, but just had a big trouble here at the actual Runoffs. And now he's got himself involved in a big battle down here, and he's in 7th spot, trying to get 6th away from Beck in front of him. And, of course, they're both trying to get away from Ilio in front of them.
A couple of different Alphas that are running there. Beck running an Alfa Romeo GT, and the other driver, Ilioen, who's right in front of him, an Alfa Alfetta. You can see the little bit different look on those two cars. Then the Mazda, then the Mini in this train here, battling it out for 5th. And let's see, Robson looks like he may have got a little bit of a run out of the keyhole. See if he can get in the draft. Here he comes. He's behind. Close enough. Now he comes up. Now there, and lap traffic could play a role here as well. Going around Dan Paddleson.
Well, Robson's after there. I think he would have had him there. He was right on him. His car looks a bit slipperier than than the Alfa down that long straightaway. But of course, again, it depends on the weight on these two cars. I think he had it pretty much lined up there.
It sure looked like he had him in his sights, and then he had to just sort of. The nice move by Beck using that traffic as a little bit of a pick,
which actually gave a bit of a breather there. He's pulled away from him through the S's and up to turn 11. This is a tricky part, of course. This 13, this left-hand sweep, you know, it's very flat surface. The road, in fact, slightly adverse camber. Very difficult to get good grip to there. And you want to make a good entry into here, the carousel, which is such an important course.
Well, they come out of the carousel onto the front straight to complete the 9th lap of 20 here at the Valvoline Runoffs. The championship on the line in GT5.
Rapidly becoming the home for the Mini Cooper. There are no fewer than 9 of them in the field this year, but 3 of them are very unique. And Joe, yours is one of them. Why did you guys decide to go to rear-wheel drive?
Purely based on our Trans Am experience and with the F-Production Midget, with which I won the 5 national championships with. Rear drive, I think, is better than front.
Well, that's all well and good. The real technical stuff is what we really want to know about. The question is, how do you get in this thing?
Good part about being a fabricator. The driver gets in first and you build the car around it.
It looks like a car more for my size. You know, they made this model Mini for 40 years. Now they've gone to a new one. The question is, when will we see Joe Huffaker in a new style Mini in GT5?
Well, I tell you, that Mini S is one neat little car that they've come up with now. The funny thing is, when you look at Huffaker in this car now, when you look at it in profile, you don't see him because he's literally sitting where
the back seat would be. Yeah, right. You can see his head looking out the back window there.
Boy, he knows how to pedal it, though. He really is, gets so much out of this car, and it is a very, very trick piece. But as you said, you can't even see him inside that car. Good battle unfolding still for ninth. The first car, the red machine, is Roy Lopsher, and they're working through that lap traffic. That's Dan Pavelson again that they're going around, and Lopsher actually got through a little bit cleaner than did the 04 Mini of Ted Phoenix. Then you got a little bit further behind them comes the number 20 of Pete Zeckert and the 01 of Jay Blivens. But these two guys right here having a good scrap for ninth right now, and then here's the other two.
Well, here are these national runoffs. That's one of the things you just get. In every race we've got, we just have terrific races right through the field. You'd think these guys were going for the win.
Well, in a way they are. I mean, if you have a great race, even if you don't end up winning it, but if you really battle hard with somebody, that's what gives you the grin.
That's what you come here for. You've got to have a great race, and Peter Zeckert here is really just hanging on by the skin of his teeth from Jay Blivens there.
It's an old Nissan 1200, and he's been driving that machine for a long time. And to some pretty fair success. Couple of wins in the division this year, and a number of podiums. So he's had a good run. Oh boy, coming up, that's Ilioen with Beck coming up on Jim Wessel Jr. to put him down a lap. But boy, this could really make things interesting. Ilioen, Beck, Gilcrease, and Robson's been shuffled back badly.
Got shuffled to the back of this pack at some stage in this race. So these three
are really battle for ninth. Sorry, David just wanted to make the look here like Phoenix might be taking a run at the 98 of Lopsher. But again, a little more top end at the end of the straight gave Lopsher just enough of a margin that Phoenix could use the lightweight and brakes of that Mini to duck underneath. You know, it doesn't matter. I mean, this track, of course, is known as a momentum track, but even with a momentum track, still having just a little bit more horsepower, especially when you're in front, is huge. Here we go. It's back to the front here in this battle for fifth. And Robson now trying to figure out if he can get some way to get back around Gilcrease and get back in the hunt here. Down to
well, he has really got shuffled out down to the back of this queue with 59 car Jay. You know, in there now, they're running for, they're battling for fifth spot, which you think, well, you know, why would you do that? But I tell you what, these races are so intense. It's going to get very tough up the front and easy.
Oh, Jimmy Burke, who was fourth in front of this group, has had an off. Now, I don't know if something's
wrong. That's exactly what I meant. That's why you keep going at all, even when you're battling for fifth and sixth, because you never know what's going to happen in front of you. You suddenly find yourself in third spot.
Yeah, Burke just slowly coming back after it here, the Nissan 200 SX. And he may have broken something because he has been taking an off. Well, now he starts to pick it up.
Right front suspension looks a bit weird to me. Hard to tell with the bodywork, but it does look like...
Oh, look at Gilcrease!
Gilcrease going down the inside. Is he going to be out? Yes, he's going to be able to outbrake the Alfa Romeo. Whoa, close. Oh, tap. I love tap there, I do.
Didn't even crack the tail light, but he definitely was there. Now Beck trying to duck underneath. He's up again. Yeah. Oh, it's a big shot.
Oh, perfect. Straighten him out.
Gilcrease got straightened out. Beck ended up coming off the worst. He's got some damage that right front corner and some of the ducting hanging. Oh, but Gilcrease must have gone around again. I just saw Gilcrease flash by.
Yeah, Gilcrease is gone. Robson, of course, the big winner in that little lot. The 64 car there going wide as it goes up to the top of Madness. Beck goes on the inside, and then they just touch there, spins the Mini around, goes right to the side, straightens the Mini up, forcing Beck into the grass. Gilcrease goes bounding across the grass.
But again, after all of this on the wall, something happens to Gilcrease.
Goes across the grass. Everything looks okay here, or sort of okay. And Beck comes back. Gilcrease was still on the grass.
Yep, when Beck came back on the track, Gilcrease suddenly flashed by behind him. So problems developing for a few of the contenders here at the runoff. In GT5 at the Valvoline Runoffs, it's still Joe Huffaker, and he's having a pretty good run of it right now. John Bizignano looks like he's found his form, opened it up again.
Well, you know, we always talk about the engineering that surrounds Joe Huffaker's talent, but look at this. All in 41.1, 41.2 He's always had the unfair, some people say engineering talent, but that is surrounded with his driving talent. He's having a great day, guys.
Oh, there's no question Joe Huffaker is a very, very good driver. I mean, all those national championships in F production have come against some incredibly experienced drivers that he's been able to run with. And yes, he's always got well-prepared cars. That's what he's known for, but he gets the absolute most out of them. Drop back to 11th right now. Jay Blivens at 0-1. Right there, the blue car in front of the queue is in the 11th spot. Pete Zeckert, the number 20, right behind him. These guys having a great battle, and he's got maybe 99 Bob Doby there as well.
Side by side, back up to 30. Oh, that squeezed him.
Oh, Doby way wide.
Squeezed him wide there, coming at 13th. Down to the carousel. He managed to get it all collected up there because he was going to lose another position.
Jim Wessel, one of the front runners in the Central Division, a couple of wins this year in the car that they're lapping, but he's really struggled ever since he got here. Have not been able to get that car up on the pipe in terms of engine performance, and he's just now running where he should be. It's got to be frustrating for Jim to have these guys going by him, but they're in the heat of a pretty intense battle, and that's the number 20 of Zeckert right there. And, whoa, look at that, big move. Looks like Rupp may be in trouble, and Peterson went by him and is drawing away. I think Rupp
is slowing up,
got to have some issue.
He's slowing down.
Way down. He got, I thought maybe a tire went. He's got a broken left rear suspension, it looks
exactly.
like.
The left rear is down.
Looks like, well, maybe the whole back deck has collapsed because he's squatting awfully bad on those rear wheels. And let's see, we got another car out. That's the 29.
That's Chris Fox in his Nissan 200 SX.
So Peterson now up into second, but he's 4 seconds behind Huffaker. And if Peterson's waiting for the last 5 laps, that's going to be in 1 lap from now. And he's going to have to find an awful lot of performance in those tires here if he's going to go after it. And here is Ralph. And again, boy, John Vivignano, there looks to be some problems at the back end of the 00 of Ralph.
Lee, we see some problems at the back end of the car. Did he say anything to you?
Yeah, he just lost the gearbox.
So, what gear did he lose?
Well, he's not sure. He thinks it's stuck in third.
Oh, stuck in third around Mid-Ohio. That's the end of his race, guys.
Boy, it doesn't look right, but obviously it is right. Obviously, the bodywork is very low over those rear wheels, but if he's stuck in third right here, he's done for, because if he has to go down the straight in third gear, he's going to be losing a huge amount of time.
He's almost coasting it, but not Huffaker. Huffaker going by some more lap traffic and has opened up his margin again by another second. So Joe Huffaker, right when all the competitors were hoping he'd come back to them and they'd find speed, Huffaker digs a little deeper and starts to open it up. We are back at Mid-Ohio, and Joe Huffaker is now within 5 laps, as Brian Till said earlier, of the hat trick, winning a 3rd consecutive national championship in GT5. The battle a little bit further back in the pack continues to rage here. That's Lopshire and Phoenix. Those two guys have been going after it. Right in front of them is Jimmy Burke, the number 23 we saw who had that off-course excursion earlier. Burke's back, but he does not seem to be on form. He's running some laps well off of what he's capable of, and that's allowing these two, Lopshire and Phoenix, to close in. Burke's in 8th, then Lopshire, then Phoenix. And this is the battle for 11th as Bob Bowie right there is still pressuring Jay Blivens big time for a shot at the 11th spot.
Boy, he is pressuring him. This is very intense racing as they go over 11. Tricky corner there. You can see how the road drops away suddenly. All the suspension droops down. It's one of those corners you've really got to get the car set up for. You can't try and be too brave over the top of that.
The two of them have eased away a little bit now from the number 20 of Pete Zeckert. Nonetheless, a good drive. Right there, Zeckert behind them, up from 19th into this battle here. He's made up a lot of ground, but Dowie continues to really hound Jay Blivens here as they come around and they complete their 15th lap, 5 to go. And this battle shows no signs of abating.
Interesting line Blivens had through the carousel there, wide in, and he cut it narrow on the way out, but it came out really quick compared to the 99 car of Bob Dowie. So he obviously got the line to the carousel. But look at this.
Dowie took a look.
Oh boy, he did, and it's a tricky place. You're going to take a look there. You've got to make sure you're well and truly alongside.
Well, look, he immediately lost 2 car lengths, and he's got Zeckert over him now. 53 is that's Dan Paddleson, and he's got the number 31 of Chris Riley trying to work his way by. Now, Paddleson has been struggling, and Riley trying to put him a lap down at this stage because he's got, right behind Riley, there's Ilioen and Robson. This is the battle that continues for fourth, and Robson has gone back around Beck and Gilcrease, of course, when they had their problems, and Robson now seems to find a little speed. Look at this, 99 Dowie tried it, and just didn't have enough speed into the corner, it didn't appear, because of his tighter line in, and Blivens just swept around the outside, but Zeckert, that third
giving
car,
Zeckert this great opportunity to make some ground up on these two guys. They duke it out between them. They're certainly losing time as they're trying to block and counter block, which is giving Zeckert a chance to catch up with him, and if he sees an opening, he'll slip by both of them.
and Robson trying to get down inside of Ilioen. He does, and in turn one, boy, that's a brave place to make a pass. You've got to be very committed.
Well, that's a fast turn. You've got to get yourself right. He had himself just right on the road. He got all the grip he wanted and whistled by the inside and picked up quite a bit of space.
Well, isn't that, I mean, that turn really only has one really quick line, and if you occupy it and there's somebody alongside you, it's going to cost him.
It's going to cost him a lot of time.
That's exactly what happened. So Robson now has firmed up his hold on fourth and has opened up a little bit of a margin just that quick. The question is whether Ilioen has anything to come back after him. And Jim Ralph is still hanging on to that third spot. But Robson now is coming up. He's within just a little bit of gap. There he is, Rock. And if he's stuck in third, it's inevitable that Robson et al. Are going to be coming after him hard in these last 4 laps. Mid-Ohio, the closing laps of the GT5 National Championship here at the Valvoline Runoffs. And the first car you see is Rock, but look at Robson and Ilioen behind him. This is the battle right now for the last medal, the bronze. And Robson, reports are, as we heard, stuck in third gear. Oh, but Robson goes around!
Robson goes around. Ralph stuck in third gear. Robson trying to get around the 00 car, which is crippled anyway. He didn't have to do that. Goes and blows his chance of getting a gold medal away, because he'll never catch up Ilioen again and never have an opportunity like he had before. Did that great pass going through turn one.
So Ilioen, though, took up the chase and easily made the pass. And I'm surprised Robson didn't realize he was closing so quickly on Rock that Rock had to have an issue.
He must have known. I think they told him, or he could see that he was having a problem. Tried to do it all in one turn, a bad turn, 13, and paid the price. Ilioen got around him, and he's never going to catch Ilioen up now.
Now, here we go. Watch this right here now, David. Right there. He just got a little wide.
Just got wide, got out into the dirt and the grey stuff. Didn't seem to put much counter steer in there to me. Done a little bit of damage to the bodywork there as he went into the grass.
And this grass is wet. We had a lot of rain last night, and you could watch him trying to regain the track. He just started crabbing until he could get back on the course. So Robson now loses a lot of ground, shown in 7th spot. So that means that Beck and Gilcrease, even with their damage, were able to get by Robson at this stage. And, boy, threw one away. Now, that allowed Jay Ilioen to move up into the 4th spot. And Brian Till, Ilioen has had his race has been great so far.
Oh, it has been. You know, I was just talking to his crew, and once Robson got past him, I said, what do you tell him now? And they said, nothing. We just tell him to go until we tell him to slow down. And that's going to be sometime after the checkered flag. We wanted to keep the pressure on. It looks like it worked. You know, he's from Holland, and the interesting thing is, even though he's from Holland, I guess they don't make a lot of cars there because he is an Alfa Romeo freak. He has one of the largest collections of Alfa Romeos in the country over here. So he's an Alfa fan. That's why he's in one today. And it seems to be doing all right for him. It looks like he may end up with a podium out of this after all.
Well, David, I mean, all race long, he's been embroiled in some battles. There's not a scratch on the car. He's been very aggressive, but very clean. Good racecraft.
Very clean indeed. As you say, the car is unblemished. That's the way to have your race car at the end of the race, looking as clean as that, and still on the podium.
Yeah, looking for a silver, a bronze medal. Here's that battle. These guys have been going after it for 10 laps. The 01 of Blivens, and right behind him, the 99 of Bob Dowie. Right, there's Dowie, but Dowie.
Zeckert right behind Dowie now. Going to, again, that's the 53 car there of Paddleson, who is causing a bit of a problem to the car, trying to get by. Zeckert going alongside Dowie as they come up the start-finish line. He's going to have the inside line for turn 1. Is he going to be able to brave it out?
And look who's going right with him. The number 43 in pursuit is Keith Maloney. He's joined this scrap. Zeckert makes the pass, so that should now give Zeckert, put him up into the 12th spot. Now can he run down and keep the pressure on Jay Blivens? There's Blivens, then Zeckert, then Dowie, then right behind them the Mini. of Maloney. Through the keyhole, and let's see what happens coming out of here. Who's got the legs down the straight, or at least the launch?
Boy, I tell you, yeah, these two cars were incredibly evenly matched. Zeckert had dropped back quite a few feet under Dowie Bivens' race, but took an opportunistic pass there and staying in front. They come down, he's got some more. No, it's not lap traffic in front, so here goes Dowie down the inside, Dowie down the inside. Is he going to be able to come off 6 quicker and get alongside him as they go into 7? Yes, he is.
Boy, that move.
And of course, that's the move that causes so much trouble. We've seen a number of incidents this weekend where people have tapped the rear quarters. They come up to 7 and it spins them around. We've already seen that once in this race.
Going a little loose there, yeah.
Going round there.
They do seem to be catching Blivens up a little bit. By the way, our leader is on the last lap. He is on his final lap, so this one's coming down. Look at this. Dowie got a great run out of 11. But Zeckert shuts the door. No, Zeckert dropped the tire, and he big wiggle. Dowie couldn't do anything with it.
Down to the carousel. These guys are going to have one more lap to go.
That is a lap car that they're trying to get underneath, doing a great job of staying way out wide. He's actually going to duck into the pits. So Robert Tarswell stopping a lap early, his day done. And these guys now on their last lap. And Blivens has enough margin now. Zeckert's going to have to run awful hard to catch him. So that battle behind them might be the interesting one. Meanwhile, Joe Huffaker, he is on his way to the hat trick.
Less than half a lap to go now. So
3 in a row. Boy, that's amazing. That's amazing here at the runoff, that level of competition. But Joe is the man, I mean, both technically and driver-wise in this category. Well, there's his daughter. Oh, she's got a hat. They got hats in their hands. Well, it might be the old hockey hat trick celebration here. Watch for it. There's the checker. He's done it. He has won himself his 3rd gold medal. There it is. Hats are in the air. Or wave. So Joe Huffaker has accomplished a very, very rare feat indeed. Here's our battling, and this is it. Dowie going back after Zeckert.
Into turn 6 for last time, side by side, coming up to 7. This is that 8, but Zeckert still retains the tight lines, coming down to 8.
Boy, Dowie loose on the outside. That may have hurt him. Oh, he's loose. He's out.
Get it back on the track. Oh, and he's going to spin it.
What a shame. What an end to what was a great race. Of course, the whole time, that little mini of Maloney was sitting back there gleefully wringing his hands, thinking this could be fun, and that proved to be the case. And Dowie struggling.
Not seeing it. Now he gets moving.
May have stalled it, just took a while to refire. Yeah, and at the top of the show, we alluded to the fact that these guys are certainly arch rivals, but they're also great friends. And look at that. Peterson is pulled right up alongside, and they're celebrating together here. Another gold and silver.
Another interesting concept there. I see that, I just realized for the first time that Doug Peterson's car is a right-hand drive car. Here you see the replay. Gets it a little bit out there, has a tank slapper, gets away from him, gets it onto the grass. Now he's trying to get off the grass before it gets sucked into one of those guardrails. And then finally loops it on the exit there as he lurches across the pavement. And then he backs it onto the grass. He then has a bit of trouble getting off the grass. And meanwhile, other cars stream by. And this race, intense as it was the 10th spot.
Oh, it's unbelievable how hard these guys run. Look at this here. There he comes in. Oh, it's a drag race. And Wallison gets him at the line. So it went from bad to worse for Dowie here as Wallison picked him up and got the 14th spot. But John Visignano, a very special day indeed for the Huffakers.
Well, the Huffakers are getting somewhat used to these days, but I'll tell you, you have the biggest smile on your face, Leslie, that I've seen for the last 3 years. Congratulations on the hat trick.
Hey, it's been a wonderful time. I'm glad Holly got to come this year. She missed a day of school. I want those other 2 kids in college to be home studying, but we'll give you a call. It's been a wonderful time. I want to thank Roy, the crew, Charlie, everybody that's come and helped. It's been great.
Holly, this was worth missing a day of school for.
Yeah.
Dad, is he teaching you how to drive?
Not yet.
Not yet. Okay, Mom. I think you should be in charge of that. Congratulations to the entire family and crew.
Thank you very much. See you, Jen.
What a great day for Joe Huffaker and family. They're loving this. By the way, just a couple of quick stats on the race. 1 caution, and it was for the first lap while they took care of a problem and got us underway. The average speed as a result was pretty good for the Minis, 78.9 miles an hour. The official margin of victory, 3.7. But I don't think there's any question. Joe Huffaker had it covered, and as a result, they're going to be putting a gold medal around his neck for the 3rd straight straight year here at Mid-Ohio.
NASCAR Dirt to Daytona, the only game with 4 NASCAR series. Line at 5.com.
SCCA Valvoline Runoffs is brought to you by Valvoline. You can always tell the guys who use Valvoline. Welcome back here to Mid-Ohio. Here's a look at the unofficial results here. Huffaker gets the third one in a row. Peterson, Jay Owen, really one of the drives of the race. I think Jack Beck, good run again. Then Bill Gilcrease. Take a look at the rest of the group here in the top 10. But today it's all about Joe Huffaker, and he's standing by with Brian Till.
Well, Leslie Huffaker going to give her husband a little trinket for his job, a little jewelry from her to him. Usually he's giving her jewelry, but today she's going to give him the gold medal. Joe, 3 in a row for you. Absolutely fantastic. What a drive. It looked easy from here.
Hey, these cars make it easy. I mean, I'm telling you, that was a tough race with Rock right behind me, and I had to just pursue the whole thing. I mean, it was a lot of work, but I'm so glad to bring this home. I mean, I thank my family, Charlie Pollitt, everybody. This is a group effort, and it's on a family level. Yep.
Well, that's 8 total for you, 3 in a row in this class, but 8 total national championships. Is this gold as important as those other 7?
Sweet. The F production 3 in a row for me gave me, something to chase with this car, and hey, we did it. So I'm real pleased.
All right, let's see. That's 8. 8 from 27 is 19. So you got 19 to go to catch up with Jerry Hansen. You going to do it?
I haven't even thought about that. I don't think that's even an issue.
Well, I don't know. I've wanted to call this thing a clown car all weekend long, but it certainly didn't perform like a clown car, and Joe keeps threatening to throttle me if I do. So, I already did. I guess I'm in trouble. Let's get down with John Bizignano. He's got a happy second place guy.
Well, Doug Peterson, congratulations on a great second place. You got the silver medal here, but this is a recurring nightmare for you, mate.
Yeah, Groundhog Day.
Really?
Well, we made some changes to the car over the summer, thought it was going to make it better, and didn't seem to make any difference. I think, the laws of physics rule here, and we're just abusing the front tires and can't quite stay with Joe.
Well, you're an engineer, so what are you going to do about it?
Well, if we're motivated enough, we build a rear-drive car. I mean, I don't think there's any way around it.
I think Joe sells those. I've heard that.
Yeah, I've heard that, too. I'm sure he'd be happy to sell another one.
Full program with a Mini next year?
It looks like it. I don't know whether it'll be this car or maybe we'll go to work and make something different.
Great run.
Thanks.
It was a great run, and I have to say, Brian talked earlier about Joe Huffaker raising the bar. Well, he's got to get in the car.
If Doug wants to take another national title, he's got 5. Now, of course, Joe's got 8. If he wants to get a 6th title, he's going to have to go the rear-wheel drive, and then it's going to be a titanic battle between these two.
Take a look at our full field results. Now here's another look at the top 10. So we're going right to 11th on back, and some great racing back in the pack here just a little bit. Most notably, right there, Blivens, Zeckert, Maloney, they had, and Dowie involved in that.
And, of course, Willinson coming through at the end, and Bob Dowie there. It was a great race, that.
So Huffaker's out enjoying his 3rd straight lap of honor here. Let's check in with John Bizignano, who's with our bronze medalist.
Joe, great run. You stayed out of trouble the whole race.
Yes, I did. I didn't have enough power to be with the first 2, but, when the guys fell out and I found a better line, I stayed with it, and it's the first time I'm on the podium. It's great. It's the first time Alpha is on the podium for a long, long time, and I'll get it on the podium first place in a couple of years.
Congratulations on a great run.
Thank you very much.
It was indeed a great race. He was embroiled in a battle at every point with a number of different cars, and he was clean but aggressive and fought his way always back into contention and ends up with the medal. Congratulations to all of our medalists. Gail Owens, Doug Peterson, to the